Hello, everybody, and welcome to the Plus3 Futures and Commodities midweek show. We are recording here about 7 o'clock in the evening on Tuesday, the 24th of September. My name's Ben Maldonado. As always, I'm here with my partner, Barry Hederachi. Barry, how we doing?
Doing great, doing great.
And Barry, so on today's show, we're going to cover the
hmm
markets that are moving. And the good news is there's a lot of them that are moving. I mean,
Yes.
just since our Friday show, a lot of big
hmm
moves being made, not so much in the S&P yet, but certainly in a lot of the commodities. So we're going to whip around really fast and give you the quick update. Let's start with the S&P here.
And also, if you guys haven't seen the Friday show, the weekend podcast, I would really highly recommend doing that because that way the midweek just we'll thread it a little bit better and give you a little bit more resolution.
Yeah, because what we try to do here is give you like boom, 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 the bullets of what's happened,
hmm
since the Globex opened Sunday night through Tuesday. And on the weekend show that we record on Friday evenings, we kind of go dive deeper in and say, okay, where are we? How did we get here? Where are we going from here? So it's a little
Right,
bit different.
right.
This is more of sort of a punctuated summary of each market.
The midweek
Mhm.
punctuation. So let's start with the cash. And you guys
Mhm.
know why we like this chart. Mainly it's because of this 90 that came in. Last couple of weeks, we talked about this 56.73. We talked about 57.12, and that's why we have that zone in here. And we wanted to see if the market, the market's going higher. Clearly, we wanted to see it break above and hold above. And prior to that, you guys know how we were treating all of this. And now, well, Ben, what do we got here? We broke above and we held above.
And
Textbook.
yeah, textbook, and we're just trapped in the zone for now.
Yeah, trapped in the zone, but you can see, we're making higher lows in there. We're starting to move up, and it's looking like it caught its breath, from the jump.
Right. I'm thinking like a criminal bear, it's they're probably just letting enough people get short before they slam it,
That if you didn't have these squares, you wouldn't know. That would look like
Right.
something completely different.
Yep.
So yeah, well, what we talked about was that, we can get above and hold above 56.73, that we're bullish, and there's a bigger, larger cycle that's coming in probably in October, and that we're probably going to go higher, till the end of the month and into maybe early part of October.
Hmm.
And it looks like that's what we're doing. We're clearly still kind of in the zone, but the fact that we're holding so well and the markets, even during the day, all the dips get bought up, we ramp right back up into the upper zone
It
and keeps
it's well
pushing.
managed.
Well managed, and it's a grind. And this kind of a grind is where, you get a lot of people, caught trying to sell it for whatever reason, and they all get grounded up in here. So you have to be careful. And because we have the levels ever since we popped above it, now we're not looking to short this thing because it's in a good place,
Hmm.
and it's moving higher. And so far, it's doing okay. So S&P, the cash index, not much more to add other than, outside of the weekend show, we want to continue to watch 56.73. As long as we're above that, we're pretty good. We're in good shape. Above 57.12, we're in very good shape. And you can see the close, we're at 57.33 today.
Hmm.
So, pretty good, comfortable space in there. And it looks like the grind is just wanting to go higher. And you guys know we had a lot of cycles coming here, and even looking at the breakout dates, it was right at 45 days,
Hmm.
45 degrees from the low earlier in August. Um, and to break out on that day and not even turn around, and now we're 45, 6, 7, almost 49 days out. So once we start moving higher here, it just looks like it has a little bit more to go. But we always monitor our levels on a short term, like a 30-minute actually, just to get the earliest possible warning of any kind of weakness. So we'll talk about that in a minute. But these are the numbers for the SPX, and let's jump over to the futures. Futures again. We talked about this 56.82 for a while, only because we were in that neighborhood for a couple of months, right? So
I mean,
and
look at
one
those lows too, multiple days, right, right there.
Yeah, I mean, right there.
on the 56.82. I mean, the lows of the day
Ah,
were
yeah,
right
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 there.
on the
Yeah.
line. Yeah.
Yeah. Even with the contract change. So you can see, even with the contract, as long as the psychology shifts, you can see how the numbers hold up
Hmm.
extremely well. I
Hmm.
mean, here are the highs, and here are the lows right on the line.
Hmm. Hmm.
So once we got above, I mean, the way we were looking at it, once we got above 55.66, we were like, okay, it looks like, 56.82 is the next level. Good enough. We ran up there. And you can see this in the September contract, but the December ended up holding about 56.82. Great. Then we were looking for it to see if it could get on top of 57.51, 57.50, 57.51, and hold above. And oh boy, here we are.
Yeah.
We did that. And we talked about this inside bar. We talked about him. We talk about him a lot. We tried to point him out, even though, we all watch markets all day, and sometimes we miss that. And here you can see we had an inside bar, took out the high, moved higher. And here we had an inside bar, took out the high, we're moving higher,
Hmm.
right? So everything's intact. And this is 270 degrees up from the low in October of 22. So it's a really, really important level. If we were going to terminate, this would have been a beautiful place to finish it all up. But it's not time yet. So we got about 57.50, 57.51, and it looks like it's moving higher comfortably. So we'll let it be there. And for now, we're trading the long side. And if you guys follow us on Twitter, we've been looking at the long side very closely. So speaking of Twitter, let's jump to the 30-minute really quick. And this is a good midweek pickup. I suppose we should cover this midweek,
Hmm.
just because it's 30 minutes and we have a little bit of data. So looking at 30-minute, the really big resistance area we have is 58.14 to 58.20, 25, right in there.
Hmm.
So that's really the big resistance zone. Yeah, it's stalling here. This might be due to other reasons, maybe gamma. I mean, who knows, right? So,
Hmm.
but going with our squares, which is what we use, 80 this 58.14 to 58. We'll give it another 10 points to 24, 25. Seems like the level we should actually reach coming off of this. And so that's it for that. For the downside, as long as we're holding about 57.67, which we've done pretty well. Yeah, we can get a dip to come in there, and they'll buy it up. Long as we're moving higher, that looks like where it's going. And long as the dips get, these are just sort of little mini search and
Stop
destroy.
hunts.
Yeah, stop hunt, search and destroy missions. It's okay. They snap right back. And as long as we're majority of the time we're up above 57.67, it is bullish, it is strong, it's in a very strong position. Matter of fact, this morning I said, as long as we're holding any pullbacks hold above 57.40, it's still good. The momentum's
Hmm.
still intact, everything's okay. And so that's it. So, the only yellow flag would be, the initial concern would be if we take out 57.67. If not, we're just going to wait for the grind to get us up into the next target area, which is 58.14, 58.25. At that point, I think we might be due for some kind of pullback and correction. We'll deal
Hmm.
with it when we get there. But now, that's it. And I think, do you have anything to add to that, Ben?
No, I think you
That's
watch the
fine, right?
levels.
Mm-hmm.
The main level on the ES is at 57.51. If we get below it, things are changing, right? If we get below it and get stuck below it,
Yes, for
things are
sure.
changing.
Yeah, that's it.
Un
First sign, right? Early
yeah.
signs.
Until then,
Okay.
you got to go with the trend.
All right. So here's
Oh, look at that.
yeah. Well, remember, we normally use the 90 degree square. Here I switched to a 72 just to make a point, because
Yeah,
these are also important. Why
very
is it?
important.
Yeah, why is it important? Well, here's 144 up, and you can see how we stalled out there for, a month and a half, good month and a half. So all these other, sometimes the market will switch between these different squares, the vibration changes or whatnot. And we have to just keep a check on it. So a good way to check is you can see the 50% line held really well. You can see how
Hmm.
the check back came in. So, obviously when it gets up into the next level, we want to watch that. So you can see even the Dow, got up in there and kind of stalled out. while while the other markets actually got on top of the square that was there to deal with.
Hmm.
So, and the Dow's been sort of the laggard, so maybe it's just bringing up the rear end, maybe that's just what's
Hmm.
happening. We'll see. And you're going to cover the Nasdaq, so we'll get to see
Yep.
what's happening there. The only other indice I wanted to talk about was the Hang Seng because we've been like right on with this. We came up to the 50% level, and right away because of the way the reversal came in, we've been bullish ever since, saying that the next level to take out would be 18,054. We got on top of that one day, a little bit of a break, getting comfortable, and look at that,
Hmm.
going right through the ABCs and blowing through everything. So it looks like 19,450 is the next target for the Hang Seng. I think it's an important market to watch. Really quick stop at gold. Again, I switched to the Square 72,
Hmm.
and we are coming up on a couple of important dates. So I think we ought to pay some attention to this, not just get caught up in the, hey, gold is running, nothing can stop gold kind of a attitude.
Right. Right.
It's, you always want to keep an eye on both sides of the street. So here we are 200, wait, 200 and 252 by 216. It's important. This is an important level. We might be running 90s in here, but for now, since we just got there, we're going to get there tomorrow. Keep an
Hmm.
eye on it. What's the price at there? We're looking for a price of 26.95. So, 26.95, 2700 is resistance we're looking for.
And the key thing to understand too is it doesn't mean because you get to a line it's bearish. It's just another marker for us to
Yeah,
gauge
yeah,
what the probabilities are from here.
exactly. And if it
If
settles
we,
above like it's been doing, we're
then
fine,
it's
and just
no
continue
problem.
on.
Keep
Exactly.
running.
Yeah.
Yep.
But these are big square points. I mean, just imagine, for almost a year, it took almost a year to get, to go three squares. So it's not like something that happens all the time. So when it gets to
No.
one of these key levels, we want to watch it. The
Yep.
other one I want to quickly just touch on is crude. We spent a lot of time on this on the weekend podcast, and we were looking for it to go towards 73.50 because we did come down and finish up the square, and looks like it's moving in that direction. So that looks okay. Do we get to
Looks good.
73.50? Yeah,
Hmm.
that's where resistance is. So long and behold, we have we've been watching the bonds very closely. 124, remember 124, 125
Yeah.
was our key line. And here,
That
after
was,
the whole FOMC stuff saga, we came back down and we touched 124. And I know you and I were talking about bonds and things the other day,
yeah.
and we talked about, hey, it really turned down after FOMC. So where do we look for some kind of a trigger? And that would be 124, 125. So, as long as we're above this, I think bonds still have a little bit more time to finish up whatever business it has to finish up here. And so we'll treat it like that.
I
So
mean,
for
that half
now,
square was good because it reversed hard today. We was down over a
yeah,
point in the morning
yeah,
and
yeah.
reversed hard when we hit that low.
So going forward, just remember that 124 is really the balance point here. If we
Hmm.
can hold above it, we can probably go up and finish the square. Otherwise, really, we have to watch this because if 124 goes, that means that run is done
Yep.
because of all the counts and everything we talked about in the on the weekend show. So that's it for the major markets. I just wanted to quickly step through a couple of these markets that were at, we were asked to look at these, so it was from you guys. It's a user request. And well, since we started to look at it, this is a weekly chart, Russell 2036. I remember talking about this a couple of weeks ago, saying, we came and touched it, we're going higher. Looks like it was going to go higher. So sure enough, Russell's moving higher just fine. And the question is, it looks like it might be a laggard also and come up and make the 90 when everything else goes to the next level. Either way, it seems so far, just looking at the chart, looking at the move, we did come up 45 weeks, that's a little bit of a thing to watch.
Hmm.
And I was watching, 45 could be 45, 49. So we're in the realm, so not to
Yeah.
be,
Yeah.
not to party too hard, but
All right.
right. So, but anyway, we're in there. It looks okay for now. It looks positive. Let's take a quick look at the 10-year. 10-year, again, look, it almost sounds too simpleton, but when we've been talking about this 117 being the next target because we basically were able to hold
Hold that
above,
half square.
yeah, hold the half
Hmm.
square, and we did a really nice ascending sort of triangle here, broke out, came back for a retest. So it looks like the short term, 10-year might be able to go a little higher and test before anything all said and done. And so far, from the time we started tracking it, you know, things have been okay. You know
That's a
what I
good
mean?
square on the yen right there.
Yes, actually, our trading square.
Hmm.
It's doing pretty good.
Hmm.
When we started a couple of weeks ago, 3 weeks ago, we started tracking the yen and talking about it on the midweek. So if you guys want to catch the yen, it'll be on Wednesday, Tuesday, Wednesday. We talk about it. Anyway, like Ben was saying, the 90 came in. We were up 135, came down 45 roughly. And so, like we normally do, we want to look at this pullback to see, how the counter trend holds. If that's a
Hmm.
real low, or are we going to do a whole another leg down?
Right.
The fact that we came down 90 and 45, it looks like it's got some, it should have some holding power. And
Hmm.
it really does look like it. So we're still bullish the end. We're going to wait for the pullback to see how the counter trends work out. So that's that. These are what are these, regional banks, right?
Regional banks. Yep.
Regional banks. Again, Longsbury holding about the 90, which happens to be around 50. It's positive. Where's the upside target? Well, up until 60. Well, we're, can't say we're not close to it. So,
Hmm.
but nonetheless, 60 to about 62 is really our next target. Let's see how we do getting there. But coming off the low, it's done pretty well. So for now, we're watching it. We'll keep you posted. Junior miners, we've been since we cleared the square here at 44, the 50% of the square at 44. We've been bullish. We talked about it moving higher, that this was a good area for miners. And I think you guys want to go back a couple of weeks and see what we had to say about it. Well, it all ended up being true because we started moving higher. It looks so far so good. Just go with the direction, right?
Hmm.
And well, here's uranium. Last week and the week before, we said, hey, we're starting to clear the 50%. Looks like it's going to go higher. Well, good enough. We did an entire quarter of the square in one shot.
Yep.
So when uranium gets hot, it just, it's very active, moves very quickly. And so that's that. I think that's my set. I think that's what I had to cover. Let me see if I'm missing anything here.
Excellent.
That's
Excellent
good,
work.
right? I think we covered
Yeah.
everything. Mhm.
No, that's a good spin around. Give people an update midweek. I like that.
All right. Well, I know a lot of things are happening in the grains, and I know you want to talk about commodities a little bit. They're on fire, and
Uh,
also the Nasdaq. So let me put it back to you. Let's look at the
yeah, I
Nasdaq.
mean, money is as people, if you've watched the commodities, you know money's coming in them, and that's an exciting time because this is what we've been waiting for. But let's
Right.
start with the NQs. I mean, look, the key level, as we said on the weekend on this
Mhm.
daily here, is the half square at 20,000. And you
Yeah.
can
Look what
see
happened. Starting to pull up,
ev
right?
every day it's been battling here at the lows, and then
Hmm.
we pushed up. We closed up on the high today.
Right.
So it looks like it's going to move. The key
Hmm.
thing too, though, I want you to notice, it's not making a new high yet, right?
Hmm.
The Dow made a new high, S&P's made a new high, NQs are, still another half square away from a
Hmm.
new high. So they're lagging and they were leading. Not a
Right.
great thing to have.
Hmm.
So we'll see how that plays out. Let's quickly look at the weekly. The weekly, you can see we're on the underside of this one by one, and we've just
Hmm.
been sort of trailing it up. The highs have
Hmm.
been basically getting stuck. We're still making higher highs. The support here held, when the lows, this was like a stop hunt, or
Hmm.
push it a little further. That 1/8 we always talk about, the extra
Right.
eighth that it can go, and then immediately reversed. So
Hmm.
the key is, if we do push up and make new highs, this half square at around 21,100
Perfect.
on a
Nice
weekly
number.
basis. Yep, that's what
Hmm.
we got to get over
Hmm.
to really get going. And then here's the monthly. This is a different. I put a 52 on this, Barry, from
Yeah.
like the O2 lows.
Okay.
And look, man, we got price and time here basically.
Hmm. And it
Because
and
this,
and the market reacted.
yeah, and this is monthly, right?
Hmm.
So we went up 3 squares and we went out 5 squares in time. So
Mhm.
3 squares in price, 5 squares in time. So I'm watching, and the location of the square is good because if we do rally up and poke through, but can't stay on top of this, this third 52 square up or 156,
Mhm.
that'll be the fat pitch that we always look for. If we
Mhm.
go up, we either make a false break or we can't get above this and we roll over. That's a monthly fat pitch.
Mhm.
So we'll be watching that to see how that goes. All right, let's take a quick look at two of the commodities that have made big moves early in the week. One everybody loves. You talk about it sometimes. It's our buddy Nat Gas.
There we go. We've been talking about it, not like
Yeah,
we were quiet,
I
not
mean,
like nobody knew about this.
this is the boring thing, right? You get here, it
Mhm.
goes up, it comes back down, everyone says, "Oh, forget this. This thing will never move." But you
Mhm.
watch, right? The pullback gives you higher lows. We try to get to the full square, higher low again. We get up on top. Here's a perfect example. Look at that bar right there, right?
Mhm.
Went up, came back. The low is on the half square. When that thing reversed, 2 days we're at we're at this level we talked about, this 282 that's critical. And so
Good.
now we're
Yeah.
battling here. So this is the spot.
Mhm.
282. We want to get on top, sit on top, because then that opens up the next half square, which
Mhm.
takes us up to about
And just last
342.
Friday, we were saying how bullish this is looking.
Yeah, absolutely. So,
Yeah.
and it was because of this bar here,
Yeah.
right? We pulled back, and for the first time, we could sit on top of that.
Yeah.
So anyway, nat gas looks good. I'll give you a quick look at the weekly. This on the weekly, we want to close above 270.
Mhm.
If we close above 270, it sort of gives us a chance to set up next week to sit on top of the half square there
But
and then push up.
we're hitting the line here, and on the daily we have that square line, so it could be
Mhm.
a time to take a little breather before we blast
Absolutely.
off,
Like if
So
if this triangle, the one that's been frustrating everyone, keeps going, we could turn back down and come back down into this area, make another higher low, and then go. The whole time in commodities, when you're doing this, you're building energy for the big move,
yeah.
and that's what they do.
Mhm.
So that's nat gas. The other one I want to show, and then I'll be done. Well, because we're keeping it fast on the midweek show. Let's look at silver. Silver this week has had a hell of a week.
Mhm.
This is your weekly chart, which anybody who watches our weekly show, you're familiar with this chart because it just to us it showed bigger picture how bullish silver was because we went up,
Mhm.
made this high, and then the pullbacks came right to this full square and right to this structure, right? And we were just basically testing from above the highs we had made in 2020 and 2021. Well, the key thing here is we're pushing above this full square, which is around 32.
Mhm.
Next week and the following weeks, we want to see us sit on top of this full square because then that opens us up to move much higher. And remember, this is weekly basis. Let's look at the monthly, and you can see it even better on the monthly. All right, this is the move you want to see. Come up above the full square, test it multiple times, one, two times here, strong reversal.
Yeah, that's good.
I mean, on monthly basis, we're targeting 38 now.
Mhm.
And then when we get to 38, we're going to the top of the square, which is 49.50 in that area.
Mhm.
But silver looks really good. I mean, again, if you're watching the commodities, copper has had big moves. What they're doing, which is also impressive, is they're blowing through ABCDs that they made, right, on the way
Right.
up,
Yeah.
like gold did. Silver's done it now. Copper's done it. Sugar's done it. Sugar's continuing to move up. So the money's flowing into these commodities because the market is sensing something about the next inflation cycle and the next sort of supply issues. I think I
Mhm.
posted something on X today where they said, oh, the drought in South America is really, really bad.
Mhm.
And I always when I see that and we've been on these things for a month now, 3 weeks, 4 weeks, 5 weeks. I say first you get the pattern, then you get the news.
Mhm.
And that's the news is going to start coming out in these different commodity markets of supply issues.
Yeah.
And then these things really, really get going.
Well, if it's about these markets, Ben, we've been on it for years. So
True. True. I mean, just recently, because they've
yeah, yeah.
corrected,
Yeah,
they
but we
went
were on
through.
with the corrections too, right?
Absolutely. They went
Hmm.
through their first up cycle, first sort of push up,
Hmm.
and we had these corrections and we said, okay, it's just time to stand aside. We're not interested in shorting because the longer term picture cycle wise is
It's
really
bullish.
positive on the
Yeah.
commodities,
Hmm.
and limitations on supply. And so now the next leg has started because we're seeing bottoms in different groups, in the grains, in the softs, in the metals, in the energy sector. So it's across the board. It's just time to focus because this is the time when you where you make the ton of money, and it makes up for all the frustration of 6 months sideways, a year
Hmm.
sideways in a trading range, all those things that we've talked about. You pay attention to those things because when you define those zones and get a breakout of those zones, that's when the moves begin.
Hmm. Hey,
So,
looking at speaking of long-term charts, this is a monthly.
mhm,
Before we finish, if you have a chance, I just saw I made up a slide for last week's or the week before using a weekly crude chart that
right.
has a pretty damn good circle and some good points. I
Let
just
me
want,
flip it over to
yeah, I
you. And
just wanted
yeah,
to show it, just share it just one
sure,
time.
sure. I love these circles. I mean, they're fantastic, and Barry's great at them. He's really good at finding them. The thing is, it's more art than science because you got to play with it, right?
Well, yeah, there
And
is a
and he when he finds these things, they are like diamonds because they really really help you define, you know, where these potential big
mhm.
moves can come from as it gets on the edge of that circle.
And this is about a 10-year wide circle. I mean, this is
It's huge.
2014 over
Yeah,
here,
it's
right? Here's
huge.
24,
But you
getting
got what,
almost.
4 points there? Five
Yeah, so
points?
here's, got one, two, three, four. I mean, there's two here, right? One,
Right.
two, three, four, five, and six that way, or you can say one, two, three, and there's a fourth one.
Which is huge.
Either way, yeah, either way, it's huge. And I mean, look, it could be tapping anywhere, but it's tapping, I mean, we're right on it, right?
Yep. Yep.
And what we see after that is like a whole acceleration phase based on this 64 right here, which was all calculated anyway. I mean, there's a lot more goes into it, right? Just
Right.
and I have to just look at this for now. But if you just look at the balance and everything, this came into it perfectly. So you guys can watch this. I mean, we've been bullish through the entire time, coming off of these lows, these 60, 64, 65, 63, these areas that we've been nailing left and right. So, back through here, right? And now I just want to show you like, wow, we got right to the square and it's a fourth time hit. So we'll see.
What's
And
interesting is the acceleration is in 25 and 26, which,
yeah,
remember
yeah.
some of the stuff I did on the last
Hmm.
weekly show, just
Hmm.
projecting out like 90 weeks or 90 months,
Hmm.
puts a few commodities making highs in that mid to late 26 area.
And that's where, I mean, looking at the inflation cycles and whatnot, it looks like, somewhere in 25, 26 is really where it's going to pick up. And look at that. That's exactly when it really accelerates.
Yep.
So I don't know if it's linked up. We're kind of way early here, not to get ahead of ourselves.
But that's
But
one you want to put that up every once in a while and let's just see
yeah,
the progress.
exactly, exactly. That's all it is. I just want to share that because I forgot to share it Friday. So
Awesome. Well, everybody, that's it for the weekly show. Like I said, we go fast, we keep it brief, but we give you a good sort of bird's eye view of all the markets that are moving and some of the stuff that we don't cover on the weekly show, some of the indices Barry will talk about. So if you have suggestions or if you have requests of stuff you want us to do on this show, please post it in the comments and we'll try and do it. But for now, that's it until Friday when we record the next show. So have a good rest of the week, everybody. Please make sure you subscribe, like, hit the alerts, and send the link to your friends as we're trying to grow the channel this year. And you all have done a great job in helping us do that, so we appreciate it.
all right, Brandon, good job. Thanks. We'll talk to you Friday.
We'll talk to you on Friday. Take
All right.
care.
Bye-bye.